Okay, good evening, everyone. I'm trying a slightly different angle here today. All right. Wow, we got a lot of people in here again tonight. That is great. Mugs up to y'all. Celeste, welcome. Is that Chantel? Good to see you. Tony, good to see you again as well. And Luna. Purified, welcome back. And Born Noldus and Jade. And Emily. KRY. Wow, people just jumping in. Coral, welcome. Awesome. I hope you all had a fantastic weekend. It has been very, very busy around here. Some of those in the Discord server have seen me just kind of run through, answer a couple questions and out so that I can get back to work. So yeah, it's probably going to stay pretty busy for a little while, but that's okay. That is okay. We actually had a big storm roll through here tonight. I was a little worried it might affect the stream. Though my internet company is talking about a possible weekend outage to work on some lines. I'm hoping that will not be on a Friday or a Sunday. I'm hoping they'll do it all on a Saturday. But they did say they give us a notice. So if it will affect the streams, I can easily let y'all know about that. So no problems there. Let's see. I am doing fine, Chantel. Thank you. Thank you very much. It's been busy, but it has been a good weekend. Tara, good to see you. And PG, good to see you. Glad you guys can make it. Real quick, because we were getting busy and everything on Friday, do remember if you have a really important question and it's been missed, you can use the super chats to make sure it flashes it up on the screen for a small donation. Someone did tell me to remind you when you click it, it wants to say $5, but you can like turn down that donation if you want to. Or if you just want to donate to the channel to help out. A few of you dropped $2 in there to buy me a cup of coffee. I thought that was kind of sweet. Thank you all for that. And we do, of course, have the channel memberships now where you can sign up to support the channel with a little bit monthly, and you get some nice perks. The tier 2 and 3 members really like the fact that there's a free spell working included every month. So, as well as videos and live streams that are members only. So I think that's all the logistics. Welcome. I'm going to go with Sophia because that's a long name. I'm going to say welcome, Sophia. So yeah. Also, you know, we steer very, very clear of politics here on this channel for many reasons, but it is one of those things this month where it's Pride Month. So I generally don't do a lot of big things where somebody might try and throw a political dart at me. But I will say this much. Look, this channel is about self-mastery. It's about self-improvement. It's about living your best life. As long as you're not hurting another person, if you're living your best life, you live that life. So in the spirit of Pride Month, I want to remind anyone in those communities, you're welcome here. Because how you choose to live your life, who you are as a person, that is totally your thing and no judgment. Okay? That's about all I'm going to say about that. Let's see what we get. No, Tony, no. I'm a big supporter, and you know, but it's one of those things where there's a lot of things that I would like to be able to support more, but it pushes the channel too close to that politics line. And if we get muddled up in the politics, then that is it actually would end up affecting the mission statement of the channel. So we're careful to steer clear of it. But in that case, I do want those people to know that, because I've had people ask if it was an issue. In fact, one of the better questions, and since we're on the topic of Pride Month, I think this is a great one. When it comes to the concept within paganism of divine masculine, divine feminine, there's a lot of people who are worried if they can practice magic or if they can walk any of these paths because of their sexuality or any of the many different things, or whether they're trans or bi or poly. There's so many reasons that they'll have questions for it. And the answer to all those questions across the board is yes, you can. You can totally practice. There's nothing barring you. And if anyone says it's barring you, you come around over here to Working Dragon Mystic. We'll get you set up, get you started, and get you manifesting one way or the other, and we'll show you you're not barred. See what we got. I missed a few people in here. Cammy, welcome. Let's see. Pure Dizzy, good to see you. Jacob, man, been a while. And Cal. And Ishkalam. Let's see. Let's see, up here we saw a question. Celeste, any ritual suggestions for the solar eclipse on June 10th? Any advice from you and the dragons? I've been trying to understand eclipse magic. Well, eclipse magic really going to differ from tradition to traditions. From a dragon's perspective, however, the eclipse is a representation of where nocturnal and daytime energies balance themselves out and unite, meld, and transmute into a singular pattern. It is when the yin and the yang of light and dark merge. And it actually merges and balances out and creates an energy pattern very similar to the spirit element. So it's a great time to work with balance, and it's an extremely versatile energy pattern that can really be used to manifest anything within the physical when you direct it in those directions. It's also eclipse water is a great thing to do, because you can actually charge some eclipse water during the eclipse, much like sun water or moon water, only it's actually going to embody the energy and power of both of them. Most of my rituals during the eclipse really are focused on balance, however, because you are hitting that perfect balance of night and day during that period. That's if I even remember to do them, but that's some of the things I would definitely do. Let's see, there was another question up here somewhere, and I think I've lost it. Ishkishalom asks, why is it called feminine? Because that's the opposite of masculine. Why wouldn't it be? That's how balance works. You got one, you have to balance it out with the other. Divine masculine, divine feminine. I'm not understanding the question there. There you go, Tony. As long as you ain't hurting no one else, do what you need to do. Anubis, good to see you. J-Moo, welcome. Well, Cal, that's a little different. Okay, that's actually a fair point, Cal, because that's self-defense. That's not just hurting someone just for the sheer shits and giggles of hurting someone. Does that make sense? I'm pro self-defense. You screw with my family, that's it. You will get a reckoning. There's no way around that. That's self-defense. When we say, if as long as you're not hurting anyone, if you're living your day-to-day peaceful life, and no one's doing anything where you have to defend yourself in that day-to-day routine is what we mean by as long as you're not hurting anyone. Because if someone comes in to hurt you or your family or your loved ones or your friends, yep, defend. Very good point to point that out, Cal. Hey, Oni-chan. Andrew, good to see you. So, yeah, see, Tony's in agreement too. Self-defense is totally acceptable. I don't agree with these people who's absolute pacifists. That just don't tend to work. See, Echelon, what is a tulpa? Actually, tulpa is modernly the term's used very, very loosely for different things, and some people even use it to represent egregores and or thought forms. However, in the traditional sense, a tulpa is a energetic construct that is constructed from a piece of your energy. So it actually has a piece of your life essence into it that is animating it. This actually creates for an extremely loyal form of a servitor like Magick. And it also makes it very versatile in use for you. However, you are missing a piece of you. So this is not something that you want to be doing on the regular or making a lot of. And because of that, it is something that the modern definitions of it have really gotten it out of hand a bit. And even some people I've seen in the modern definition, they actually know what it is and they know they're using a piece of their energy. And they can't figure out why they're sick all the time, why they're coming down with these illnesses. And they've got like 10 of these little tulpas. It's like because all your energy's over there. But they can be they can be hard to create. What is this? Bornoldus. Hey, Bornoldus, signed up for tier 1, man. Thank you very much for the support. Mugs up to you. Celeste asks, has a dragon ever manifested itself in the physical realm, either partially or completely? Not in written history, no. There are accounts of dragons in medieval literature and whatnots, but it wasn't in the literal physical sense. And the reason is they're energetic auras. We've talked about these before on this channel, but their auras are so powerful energetically that they create a physical disturbance to the environment around them. And even a dragon that is, let's say, the size of a small car, which is not a very large dragon at all, if it was to manifest fully physically, would literally start causing a chaotic disturbance and potentially destroying the area near it. And that aura gets significantly stronger as the dragon ages. So for some of these larger dragons that are like the size of a house, they would literally be destroying an area radius all the way around them. It just ripped the area apart. Their energetic disturbance would be so strong. And then when you get up to the much, much larger dragons, forget it. Their presence could actually wipe an entire state off the map. And in the case of the rulers, they could probably wipe a continent off. So that would be a problem. Purified asks, can anyone enter the dragon home realm or do you need special permission? The Draconic realm is a locked plane. It is a very, very locked plane. There's actually only one way to access it. And yes, you would actually need very special permission to gain that access. That said, there is talks of that information being put in 103 or 104. It is not the easiest thing to access, but it is accessible. And the reason they make it that way is because they want to Well, let's be honest, they don't like random people wandering around their plane. For their safety and yours, that plane is insanely dangerous. Um, but yeah, it is possible. In fact, in Dragon Magic 102, there's actually a dragon in there that will take you on a tour of just the central trade hub within the Draconic plane. You're not allowed outside that central trade hub. And this is kind of like um, it's almost like an airport or a train station where all the vendors have gathered. It's pretty much the best way I can describe it. And you will be kept on a very, very short energetic tether the entire time. You will not be allowed free roaming access at all. And if you try to break free, you'll be punished. I'll just put it that's the nice way of putting it. So yeah, you'd basically become a toddler on a leash at that point. That is in Dragon Magic 102 for those who are working on it. You will eventually get there. Lee Jones, hey, welcome. Glad you can make it to your first stream. And wait, hold on. I clearly missed something. Emily Casey, welcome. Tier 3 membership. Thank you. Mugs up. Thank you for your support. Thank you a lot. That really helps. Let's see. And oh crap, we got something. Dragon of the West, how can I create a servitor? We actually have a video on servitors here on the channel. Just go check it out. It gives you a step-by-step process, man. Okay, well, crap, it's jumping. Yep, we're busy tonight. That's okay. I see we got 31 people in here, though, and 17 likes. So if you can, smash that like button. Those likes really help the channel out. It lets YouTube know you like the work we're doing. And they'll also show these videos to other people who are trying to find this research and this information so they can forge a path of their own. The Purified, how does the dragon home look like? It's kind of hard to explain because it is an extremely primal plane. Everything there is still in its very, very early, very large, gargantuan primal state. So the mountains, the trees, I mean, even the smallest plant would be bigger than us, really. Torrential, the rivers are just always constantly and massively moving. As you get closer to the central city, things become calmer. But then you move out into the wildlands or the primal lands. And that's when it truly, truly gets dangerous, because even outside in those areas, it's dangerous to even dragons. But it's really hard to explain. It is a very busy night, which ain't a bad thing. Sorry, it is jumping. We got a lot of people in here tonight. If I miss your stuff, I apologize. Eve Raven, yeah, I'm actually trying to get a video on the Draconic Laws and exactly what the dragons are required to follow as they work with humans. So the Draconic Laws actually do, they have different sets of rules and laws that are designed for working with different entities and different planes and everything. So the dragons are actually fully aware of all these laws. The laws that I plan to do the video on is the laws that affect dragons working with humans primarily. And I do plan to have that video out. We've almost, I'm wanting to do a quick check through my journals and everything to make sure I've got it. Because I've been trying to collect all the different laws that they've mentioned to me through the years into a single list. And that's what I'm wanting to do to share in that video. because there's a lot of them, and I haven't committed them all to memory. So let's see. Right, I'm way behind. I apologize, people. This is awesome. We got a lot of you in here joined us tonight. Everybody wants to end their weekend here. That's pretty cool. So I'm not scared. If it's missed here, I'll hit you up in Discord. That's a good point. If I can't get to your question here, drop it in the Discord. That is very true. KRY, why do dragons age if they're not bound to a physical body? This is actually a good question and a really interesting one, and one that, yes, I even asked them. Age itself does not necessarily become limited to the physical plane. Age still works in other planes. And there are entities that do age within their own planes and without the multiverse, even if they aren't bound to a physical body. Because the physical realm as we know it and what we call a physical body is bound to the physical realm. Okay? That's one thing. But you have to understand, if you actually are an entity that is not bound to the physical plane, you still have a body. You still have a tangible body. And you grow with that body. Your spirit, your essence, it still grows. It still develops. It's still learning. That's just part of the multiverse. Everything out there is still growing and learning. Even Odin, the Allfather, even Thoth, Zeus, all these big bad deities, they're not perfect. They're still learning. They're still growing. And it is possible for these entities to perish. They appear immortal in our eyes because of how long they can live, how powerful they appear to us. I hope that answers the question a little bit. And we jumped again. Crap. Uber Putis, hey. See, Anubis. So when viewing a entity, we can only view it in a certain spectrum. For instance, dragons might not look how we perceive them, and instead look like something that give us a heart attack. Right. Correct. That is absolutely correct. If you look at the 28 Laws of Magic, which I did a video on, actually, I think I might have had to do 2 videos on that. You actually do see that all things in the multiverse are limited to how they perceive the multiverse. And all entities throughout the multiverse do have different views of perception. We even have views of perception that other entities don't. Chantel, is it very possible that I have my spiritual awakening now? I'm depressed. See way more angel numbers. It is possible. I mean, I'll be honest. People think the spiritual awakening is going to be this like kumbaya, peaceful, serene moment. It never is. It is literally like ripping a band-aid off of a wound and taking the scab with it, because you're literally ripping off the blinders and you're becoming exposed to so much, and you're trying to adapt to that. It is a rough ride. So yeah, that is very possible. I would recommend trying to do more ritual work and stuff similar to the Dragon's Flame ritual. Try and keep your energies up and balanced. Cloud gazing. Hey, Drake, what's the difference between willing and imagining something? Um, Really, not a lot. That is actually a good question, Cloud. Not a lot, really. The big difference is if you're just imagining something, you're only seeing a physical or image of it in your head. That's it. You're just seeing the mental image of it. That's all imagining is. Willing something is you're actually willing that image, you're willing that construct to begin to gather energy and move forward in order for the energy to actually start to manifest that thing. That would be the defining line. Is are you just seeing it in your head? Are you willing the energy to actually create it? Emily asks, any ideals for physical cleansing because of illness to make it easier to heal? Yeah, I mean, if you have a physical illness and you're actually wanting to try and heal yourself, um, and I'm sorry about the lighting in here tonight, people. It's a mess, I know. Um, One of my favorite ways to do this is actually use the rune Uruz. Um, this is a rune that you can actually do a golder of. That the golder itself will actually create a vibration around you, and since Uruz, one of it is its powers is vitality. You can push that vitality into you to help you heal, and well, it's really simple. I mean, you don't even have to worry about any fancy rituals. I often do it if I even remotely feel myself coming down with a cold. I'll do it while I take a shower. Um, I've done it when I had strep throat. Doctors could not kick the strep throat for nothing, but I was able to use the Uruz in combination with what they did. It cleared up in 3 days. So yeah, and all you would need to do for that, in case you haven't went over and checked out the rune class playlist, though I would recommend doing that. You would envision Uruz, which is in the first et, and in your head, and you would intone its name. So it'd be like and you'll when you do that, you can feel that vibration just going through your whole body. And do that 9 times, and you're solid. And honestly, by the time you hit that ninth intonation, you're going to be feeling better already. Now, if we're talking like a broke arm or foot or something like that, you can still do this, and the joint, the arm, whatever, it will mend a lot faster. Usually 2 to 3 times faster, in my experience. Eve, have I ever worked with Lucifer's Raffle? Yes, I have. I worked with him a little bit my first time through the Cliffothic spheres. I encountered him a few times in his sphere. I am looking forward to working with him again as I progress through this path working where I directly work with the um, demonic rulers of the spheres, which is one of the spheres is his. So I'm very much looking forward to working with him again. And we jumped. Crap. Anubis. For scientific purposes, if something was actually foolish and dumb enough to slap one of the Fey kings or queens, for example, what would happen? It would cease to exist. It would cease to exist. I have actually seen people die for trying such shit. Because the kings can somewhat be reasoned with, but the queens, there's no reason. There's no negotiation. There's no nothing. Yeah. You signed your own death on that one. Let's see here, we got a bunch of things popping in here. We're jumping around a lot. Emily, thank you so much. No problem. No problem. That's one thing I love about the medium here where I can do the videos, because I remember when I was first learning, people would always talk about intoning. But rarely did anyone actually do a good explanation of what the frickin' toning is. But it's like the first time I saw it and heard it, and I was like, oh, well, that's easy. Why didn't you just say so? But then when I tried to explain it to somebody, I couldn't. So it's something where it's like explaining it can be difficult just because different people communicate differently and at times. But if you can just demo it, pew, solve that problem real quick. Let's see, Eve Raven. Oh, exciting! Would love the video. Oh, the Lucifer Replica video. Yeah, I'm actually wanting to do videos. I'm actually working with the angels of the Kabbalah into not only getting a deep dive path working for the Tree of Life done, but I'm also wanting to do some videos on those angels as well, and kind of intro or primer to them and the spheres before we get a deep dive path working going. But I'm also wanting to do the same thing for the entities within the Qliphoth. Is the Isles of Bliss connected to the Fae, and if so, how so? To the best of my knowledge, no. The Isles of Bliss is not connected directly to the Fae, as in something that is specifically to do with them. Nor is it within the Fae realms. I have heard that there is a gateway from one to the other, and that makes sense because the Fae Wilds and the Fae realms are actually probably has more gates in it than even the physical realm does. But beyond that, I am unaware of any direct connection. If we're talking about the same Isles of Bliss, so yeah. So when you talk about the Fey tree, that one I'm a little sketchy on. I've never actually heard directly of that. I've seen, I did see a group that superimposed a Fey tradition onto the Tree of Life, and they referred to that as a Fey tree. But as far as in the actual whether the Fae themselves actually have the Fae tree, that I've never encountered, even working with the queens. So I don't know where this term's coming from. I'd have to look more into that one for you. Because it may be referencing something that I have encountered just in a different terminology. Let's see, Eve. We've got a lot of questions popping up here, and I'm trying to keep up with it. Sorry about that. Sorry for the silence, people. Yeah, we are working on it. We got a lot of videos planned because we are doing the 72 Spirits of the Goetia. We are actually going to do an entire playlist pairing the 72 angels alongside those, which we should be filming the first one of those here very, very shortly. We actually have a video. We're wanting to actually do a base video on some simple tips, ideologies, and philosophies of just working with demons in general and working with angels. So, I mean, we've got a lot of things that we're wanting to talk about and a lot of topics, which is another reason I got to take care of my health, because if I don't take care of my health, I won't live long enough to get all this posted. Do I recommend shows or movies about the Draconic Path? I actually don't know of any shows or movies that really describe the Draconic Path in any way that would be functional to recommend, Chantel. I mean, if anyone has a thought of one, I would definitely be interested and watch it. Please do not say How to Train Your Dragon. Not really applicable. But yeah, I mean, I don't really know of any shows or TVs or shows or movies that would actually be applicable. That's kind of the hard part. When we're talking about dragon magic, and even if we're looking at draconic magic or the draconic path, which isn't dragon magic, it's more of a Qliphothic Luciferian blend. I don't even know any that would actually work with that one either. So I've been having dreams about the Fae recently and trying to understand them. Know that we do have a few videos on the Fae, Celeste. If you go check them out, we have a beginner's guide of working with the Fae and stuff like that here. And it does make sense that you're going to be feeling a lot of that Fae energy right now. We are coming up on midsummer. Midsummer is one of the major energetic influxes where the Fae take a very large role. In fact, it's where the two Fae courts switch up hemispheres. So right now, the Seelie or the Summer Court or the Light Fae, depending on who you're talking to, they're currently in the Northern Hemisphere. At midsummer, however, that's going to flip, and the Unseelie, the Dark Fae or the Winter Court, will then be in the Northern Hemisphere, and the Seelie will be in the Southern Hemisphere. So that big transition's coming up. So that actually makes sense that you're having those dreams. I'm unaware of any TV shows or movies. That'd be a cool movie to watch, though, if they didn't screw it up. Though, I'll be honest. These days, the way they make movies, I don't have faith in them not screwing it up. Wow, we have got a lot of people in here, and it's just moving along. I'm sorry if I'm missing these. It's great that you all got so many questions. Let's see, Chantel, does someone has some books they can recommend about that path? For Dragon Magic, the only published works that are really partially useful is DJ Conway's works. If you're talking about the Draconic Path, which is more the Luciferian Qliphothic style, they are very drastically different. I did a video detailing the differences between Draconic Magic and Dragon Magic. For that, I would actually recommend I think it's Draconic or Draconian Ritual book. There's even a link to it below the videos. You can find it down there. that is a great way to get started with the Draconian tradition. So you might want to look into those, Chantel. Sophia, welcome. And I need more coffee. The 41-minute mark here. Not too bad. Not too shabby. Dizzy, how many uses can you count for the Dragon's Flame ritual? Are we talking versatility here? Because I'll be honest with you, I've lost count at this point. I could actually say with almost certainty, I could probably replace 98% of my practice with the Dragon's Flame ritual and just do that ritual and shift it into the place of other rituals, with the exception of some of the higher rituals in Dragon Magic that require very, very specific uses or the more advanced Dragon's Flame ritual in order to do it. But even those are still technically using a more advanced Dragon's Flame ritual. Now, when we talk about the advanced Dragon's Flame ritual, that I think it could replace everything I do. I could use that one ritual and be set. And we jumped again. Crap. Okay, we're at the bottom again. Let's see. Anubis, is it possible to become nobility in another realm? Not easily. You would have to actually do a lot to earn it. You could be recognized as an ally. You might even receive some kind of unofficial recognition within another realm, but an actual noble of another realm, not so much. Not until after Ascent. That is kind of an after Ascent thing. And in some realms, if you're not of their actual kind, it's an impossibility. The perfect example of this is actually the Fae. If you are not Fae, you cannot hold any titles within the Fae realms, period. Lee Jones, best way to connect with Lucifer? That's going to differ from person to person. There is no singular one best way. The easiest way is if you actually grab Lucifer's sigil and go check out our video on connecting with deities and entities. That right there will work just fine and dandy for getting you in touch with Lucifer. Uber Putis, how far can you go with physical changes through magic? If you mean magic as in I'm going to do a spell and wake up 200 pounds with big muscles tomorrow, ain't happening. If you are asking about magic to permanently change your eye color, ain't happening. I've heard a lot of people make these claims, and I have seen none of them actually hold water. Now, as far as temporarily cause either an illusion or shift in your eye color that is minor, those you can do. Can you utilize magic to help you in your process of working out and putting on muscle and or losing weight? Yes, you can. Those things it can help. Can you utilize magic to put on an extra foot? No. There are certain limitations with how drastically you can physically alter the physical form of your body. It is just that simple. Tony, that's kind of the catch-22. How do you know you've achieved ascension during this life? You don't really. It's one of those things where the only way you can absolutely be sure you've done it is once you've done everything you can do and it's your time and you step across, it is at that moment where you will truly know whether you've achieved ascension or not, because you'll be able to maintain the entirety of your consciousness. You'll be able to reconnect with all the different pieces, all the different lives, all the different knowledges and wisdoms throughout your entire cycle. And you will maintain your identity in its completest form. That is really the moment that you truly know that you've achieved it. That is kind of the catch-22 on ascension. Till then, the best you can do is constantly strive to improve, constantly strive to learn, empower yourself, and master the world around you, and learn to shape it. Those are the things that a magician does. This is why magicians, you don't hear a lot of magicians with skill complain about day-to-day things in life, and you'll definitely not hear us talk too much or use the phrase, that's unfair. Because if we actually believed in our power, if we actually know we can do these things, instead of wasting time making excuses, you know what? We're just going to hit the ritual room and fix it. And that is empowering. And I would actually challenge any mage, magician, or practitioner out there, if you catch yourself complaining, if you catch yourself whining about things not being fair, or if you find yourself making excuses of why something's not your fault, I would challenge you to work not to do that. And instead, when those pop up, use your magic to correct the issue as best you can. That will drive you further down the road of self-mastery, because those are the things where you feel powerless. Those are all comments. Those are all words. Those are all statements of powerlessness. And as a mage, as a practitioner, we are not powerless, ever. And if your goal is ascension, you have to live in your power all the time. So it can be a very harsh road. And for the life of a mage, the person we blame, we always blame ourselves. We're always looking at ourselves in the mirror. So if something goes wonky in my life, I blame old Drake. And I make sure he gets off his tuchus and does something about it and corrects course and make sure it doesn't happen again and does better the next day. And we jumped again. Crap. See, well, we got questions everywhere. Yeah, I mean, you got to. One of the reasons I've put the rituals I have so far on this is I have put the rituals that in my working with students, I've done the ones that have the highest success rate for the most people. And I am looking at, now that we're so far and we're building up the channel, to doing more rituals, even possibly demos, perhaps even showing me doing rituals for these entities, to give you an idea of how the setups may work, or give you different ritual outlines even, to give you options of rituals to try, because like Chantel says, not everything's going to work, because we are all different. Yes, Chantel, that would definitely be your third eye if you're staring at a point, your peripheral. Your peripheral vision out here, it actually tends to be more open to your arcane sight than directly, because your subconscious actually takes in this information more than your conscious mind. So yeah, that's one of the reasons it's easier to see things moving like shadows and stuff out of the side, your peripheral vision, that it is face on. And then when you look over, it's not there, because you've shifted from peripheral to direct. So yeah. And we jumped. All right, let's see. Okay, it jumped to the bottom, so we'll see if I stay caught up this time. Probably not. Let's see. So I really should look up Drake's process for his classes because I will definitely benefit from his guidance. Yeah, Celeste, head over to the workingdragonmystic.com, click on the courses. Dragon Magic 101 and 102 are both priced at 30. In fact, there was a massive meditation. Well, the course is still there. The meditation course, when it launched, it was so freaking huge. It was priced at 100. That has been eating at me since we launched it, and I wanted to bring it in tune with more of the prices that we currently have. So even the meditation course now has been brought down to 30. So yeah, we're trying to stick with that $30 price range as much as possible. If a particular class or something isn't big enough to break into two, but I do have to cram extra in it, we might push it up a little for those classes if it happens. Right now, we've been lucky. Right now, we've been able to stick into there. So yeah, definitely. I do my best to make sure everything is affordable because I know how hard it was when I was starting out to learn. And you go out there and you start looking for something, and people start their prices at like $300. I saw one guy charging $2,000 for a 101 course. Like, screw that. So my logic was try to price it in. If I was to write a book and I was wanting to write a book to completely cover the subject, how much would I be willing to pay for it? And $20 to $30 is kind of where, if it's a book and it's a quality book, I pay for it in a heartbeat. And that was kind of my thinking with these. And many of the people here are actually taking the Dragon Magic classes and the meditation classes. So not as long as you're on the physical plane, you would not be able to. And it also would depend on how much, because you would need to be more than 50% Fae, which is unlikely because the Fae bloodline has been dwindling more and more over the years. So, yeah. It's good to talk about Ascension. Thank God we have replay. Yeah, the replay really comes in handy. See. Yeah, Enochian angels are actually far easier to work with in your peripheral. They really are. It is possible to do it head on, but it is very difficult. Very difficult, but it is possible. Yeah, again, like I said earlier, it is potentially possible to have some connection with the Fae. In fact, I would actually say you'd be hard pressed to find a human being alive that isn't part Fae to some extent. The Fae actually used to interact with humans a lot more until the Queen's ordered a pullback. It is actually now completely against Fae law to intermingle with humans. So because of that, the Fae blood within humanity is slowly trickling down. Whether or not they will ever change that is another question. At this point, it does not look like either queen is open to the concept of changing that. So yes, every human will have some amount of Fae blood within them, without exception. Enochian is speaking of the angels within the Enochian magical system. So Enochian magic is a tradition and or system of magic working with angels, popularized by John Dee. Chantel, can anyone be partly dragon, like in a past life, or even dragon in human skin? Sorry for the question. No, the question's not stupid. Actually, this is a question that comes up a lot. You do have a lot of people in forums who claim to be half dragons. You have them claim to be dragons in human form. You have all these things, but the simple truth is, once you actually start working with dragons and find out, you actually find out it's an impossibility. Even the smallest drop of draconic energy or blood within a human vessel would destroy it entirely. So if you see a physical person walking on the street and they are not spontaneously combusting or dying on sight, then the answer is no, they are not. There are a lot of people who want to make that claim to put a gold star on themselves and feel special, just like all the Merlins you'll see at a pagan pride. I can't tell you how many magicians I've met who have told me they're the second coming of Merlin or the second coming of Morgan Le Fay, or I'm starting to think it's a mental disorder. I won't even lie. People are so dead set to be special by something that is intangible that they forget to be who they are. And they want to seek some kind of stature or relevance, or they want to impress people by making these claims. And I'll be honest, at no point in my life have I ever been impressed by these claims. It's kind of sad. I actually feel bad for these people more often than not. Now, I'm more impressed by that college kid working 2 jobs and getting straight A's to better himself, because now that's some stuff. He is busting his hump. I'm more impressed by that than the second coming of Merlin. Celeste, don't worry. We are working on a complete summer and winter path working, in which both the Fae Kings and Queens will be directly involved with, as will the six main lords and ladies of each court. No, it's actually not possible that they were in a past life, because if a dragon comes to take a physical form, it is worse than it's a fate worse than death. It would literally destroy the dragon's entire history up to that point, because it can no longer be a dragon in any shape, form, or fashion. It is a fate worse than death. Peter Plumbo, the Dragon Marketplace. Yeah, there is. Like I said, there is at least a. You get to at least see the Dragon Realm, at least the main central visiting hub city, in 102. So that was really great. The fact that you can actually get a glimpse of it, even though, grant you're on a leash and you're not going to be able to do much, and there's like all these little safety mechanisms, but a glimpse is better than nothing. And I'm really hoping we can, we'll be able to offer up how to access the doorway into the realm in 103. Anubis, can you form your own realm? That's literally what your astral sanctum is. Anubis, it is your own little realm in the astral plane that you start to construct. That's exactly what it is. Chantel, that's interesting. No problem, no problem. I was actually a little thrown off too, because I mean, I'll admit, I've heard, the first time you meet a Merlin, it's like, okay, that's interesting. But when you start meeting like 20 a day at some events, it's like, how do you all get together and all agree you're all the second coming of the same person? Don't that seem a little wonky? But then you get into other areas. But when it came to dragons, they've been very, very blunt. Not only is it would it destroy us, but it's literally against our laws too. So yeah. Anubis, we're getting fake court courses. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Many of you may actually remember last winter I worked with Mav in the winter court directly to get notes. And this winter, so basically, yeah, midsummer, I will be taking those notes and actually working through that path, working personally, because I will not publish a course on any information that I've not personally tested. So I'm going to be testing that in its fullest this coming cycle. From there, we're going to work into actually trying to film it and get it set up and ready for launch. Currently, I'm actually in the process of working with Tatiana and the Summer Court and getting the notes for that one so that I guess it'll be Yule was when I start that one because that's when they flip back over. So, and I'll be testing that one too. Let's see here. Eve, you're curious why people see dragons within themselves. Well, the draconic energy patterns and stuff that we can tap into is pretty common. Also, humans ourselves actually associate dragon imagery with a lot of things. More often than not, when we're seeing a dragon in ourselves, we're actually seeing a form of imagery that humanity has placed upon that energy pattern. It's not a true dragon. A great example of this is actually Kundalini energy. It is often represented by dragons or serpents. So it is very common to see Kundalini energy and Kundalini work as a dragon. Okay, well, we actually need to get ready to wrap up. So here we go. We do have a new video coming out this week. I am pretty sure it is the next one in the Goetia series. So be sure to check that out. If you want to support the channel, do consider signing up for memberships. And for all those who have signed up, thank you very much. I will keep the perks coming. I will try to add more perks as I can. And I am working on scheduling the next members only live stream, as well as I've got some plans to give the members some meditation videos because meditation videos are really, really a problem right now. This is something I did want to mention to you all because they get interrupted. Now, I was looking at doing meditation videos and purposely making sure there were no ads anywhere in the middle. Now, YouTube has recently done this thing, and they have to. It's the correct move. But there may be ads on videos where I don't place them now, so I don't know how that's going to work. So we're going to have to do some testing. So I'm going to do some testing with the members. I'm going to try and get some meditation videos in there for you to try and you all to utilize. And I'm probably going to start with a simple drumming video. We're going to try and get some different tones, maybe some nature sound guided meditation, stuff like that, for y'all to utilize them. And when I launch them, I'll let you know exactly what feedback we're looking for, because some of these newer changes, I'm not sure how they're going to affect things. But I can't complain. It's a free platform that allows me to interact with you all, communicate with you all, and be able to share this information. So I'm not going to complain about a free platform that does so much to help us reach our goals and our mission statement. So thank you, YouTube. Beyond that, everyone, get out there, have a fantastic week, keep up the great work, keep manifesting the best life you can. And remember, Mistakes happen. We all screw up. We all trip. We all fall. In fact, one should be grateful for their time in the mud, because if you trip, fall, and face plant in the mud, you just had an opportunity to learn something. That's an opportunity to grow. That's an opportunity to stand up, dust yourself off, and go at it harder the next time and wiser. So try to look at those pitfalls as a learning experience. Believe me, it really does help. And for those of you who are curious in the courses or classes, go to workingdragonmystic.com. You just click on courses. It'll take you straight to the school where all the currently available courses are. And we do have more planned and working on, and hopefully we'll be able to get those up for you soon. I think that's all the boring business. I do believe that's all the boring business. So with that said, everyone, have a fantastic week. Stay safe. And I will see you Friday for Research and Ramblings when we go live. Take it easy, take care, and good night.